My daughter looked me square in the eye and said, "Obey my husband or get out." So I picked up my pillow and the retirement money she was counting on. Now you tell me, sugar, what kind of child talks that way to the mama who raised her? What kind of daughter forgets the hands that fed her or the prayers that kept her safe at night? I gave that girl my whole life, and in return she gave me shame and heartache. Let me ask you something. What would you do if the one person you sacrificed everything for turned their back on you? Would you swallow your pride and take it? Or would you stand up even if it broke your heart? Before I go on, let me pause a second. If stories like this stir something in your soul, if they make you think twice about family, loyalty, and respect, go on and hit that subscribe button right now. You're not going to want to miss how this story ends. I was born and raised right here in Texas, honey. Grew up on red dirt, sweet tea, and hard work. My mama used to say life's going to hand you more chores than choices. So you best keep your chin up. And I carried that with me my whole life. When I married young, I thought I had it all figured out. It didn't take long for life to show me I didn't. My husband, God rest his soul, passed too early. And it was just me and my baby girl. Lord, I poured every drop of love I had into raising that child. I'd sit up at night sewing dresses for her out of scraps, making sure she'd never felt poor, even when we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. I went hungry plenty of nights just so she'd have supper on her plate. And I told myself one day, she'll look back and see how much her mama loved her. That was my prayer, every single day. Fast forward some years, she met a man. Now, I'll be honest with you, darling. I didn't talk to him right away. He had this slick smile, the kind that doesn't quite reach the eyes. You know what I mean? Folks in town whispered that he liked spending money faster than he could earn it. But my girl, she was smitten. And what could I do? You can't choose who your children love. At first, they played the part real well. Invited me over for Sunday dinners, brought me little gifts on my birthday. I thought maybe I was wrong about him. But once they got me moved into that back room of their house lord, that's when the mask came off. He started with his little comments. Don't sit in that chair, you'll wear it out. Or, you're eating too much. That food's expensive, you know. And my girl, instead of standing up for me, she just laughed along like it was all a joke. Pretty soon, they stopped inviting me to the dinner table. Said it was easier if I just fixed myself something separate. Easier for who, I wonder? Neighbors started noticing too. This Patty from next door, she pulled me aside one day when I was hanging laundry. She said, "Sugar, you ain't been looking too good. They treating you all right over there?" And I just smiled, told her I was fine. You know how it is. We don't air our dirty laundry in public. But she knew. Folks always know. And Lord help me, the worst part wasn't even the way he spoke to me, or the meals I skipped, or even how my daughter turned her head. The worst part was hearing EM through the walls at night, whispering about my money. See? I had a little nest egg saved up from years of work in the diner. Nothing fancy, just enough to keep me comfortable in my old age. And they wanted it. Every last penny. I'd hear him say, "Soon as she's gone, that house and that money's ours." And my daughter, my own flesh and blood, she just in agreement. Do you know how it feels to hear that, sugar? To know your child is sitting there planning a future without you in it? One Sunday after church, I walked past a couple ladies tokon outside the diner. They didn't see me right away, and I caught my own name float in through the air. It's a shame the way they got her tucked away like some burden, one said. That poor woman deserves better, said the other. My cheeks burned, and I hurried on before they noticed me. But inside, I was dying. Small towns talk, y'all. Always have, always will. I tried to talk to my daughter once. Ask her if she remembered how I used to walk 5 miles to the sewing shop just so she'd have a new dress for picture day. She looked at me, eyes cold, and said, Are you always bringing up the past, Mama? We're not kids anymore. You're just in the way. Those words cut deeper than any knife. Now, here's where the good Lord must have stepped in. A friend from church, old brother James, he came by one day with some papers. Said he'd overheard things in town and thought maybe I ought to think carefully about my will. I hadn't even considered it before, but something in my gut told me I better put pen to paper. So I did. And let me tell you, sugar, I didn't leave one red cent to that daughter or her slick husband. Nope, I left my house and savings to the local church and a little scholarship fund for kids who couldn't afford college. If my own child couldn't honor me, maybe some other child could carry my love forward. Well, wouldn't you know, not a month later, they started pressuring me harder. He said, you ought to sign the house over now. Make things simple. And I just smiled sweet as pie and said, oh, honey, don't you worry. I've already taken care of everything. And the day I passed, the whole town turned out for my funeral. I heard about it later, how folks whispered when the lawyer read my will. My daughter's face turned red as a beet when she realized she wasn't getting a dime. And that husband of hers, why, he stormed out right there in front of everybody. People in town still talk about it to this day. And my neighbor, Miss Patty, she told folks that woman may be gone, but she sure got the last word. Now, I ain't telling y'all this story just to stir the pot. I'm telling it because life's got a funny way of showing us who's who. Blood doesn't always mean loyalty. Love doesn't always mean respect. And sometimes the family you choose, your church, your neighbors, your community ends up being kinder to you than the ones you gave birth to. So let this be a lesson, sugar. Don't let nobody treat you like less than you are, even if it's your own kin. Stand tall, hold your head high. And when the time comes, make sure your voice carries on, even if you ain't around to speak it yourself. That's my story, straight from this Texas grandma's heart to yours. And if you stuck with me till the end, bless your soul. Don't forget what I said earlier. Go on and subscribe to this channel, because there's plenty more stories where this one came from. Life ain't always easy, but it sure does make for one heck of a tale.